What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today we're testing out another full face of new drugstore makeup because the drugstore is just popping them out left and right. So yeah, let's go ahead and put some new drugstore makeup to the test on my face. First things first, I do already have my skincare routine done. So everything I'm using today, including what I haven't shown on camera, like my skincare prep, my eyebrows, I do have some brows on right now. It'll all be linked below in a little breakdown. All right, so I think I'm gonna start with my face first. I usually prime and start with my eyes, but I just feel like every single eye primer now creases on me. Like ones that are my holy grail, like must have eye primers, they all crease on me now. And it's probably because I've been putting my skincare on my eyelids more recently, and that probably seems like a pretty quick fix. Like just don't do that. I don't want my eyelids to age, okay? So I'm still doing it. So I've just kind of been like throwing on like a very light amount of like whatever foundation I have on. But for primer, I have this new Makeup Revolution Super Dewy Skin Elixir Makeup Serum. I've actually heard that this is supposed to be a dupe for the Watermelon Glow Drops from the Glow Recipe, which I haven't tried because, girl, that shiz is 42 bucks. I ain't paying that. It's supposed to give a very similar effect on the skin. I mean, it can't penetrate, like it's not a skincare product, like it's a makeup, like it's a primer to my knowledge. Yeah, it's called Makeup Priming Serum with Dewy Finish. So yeah, it's not gonna do what the Glow Recipe one does, but it'll give you the same kind of effect apparently. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shake it up. Yeah, it just comes in a little medicine dropper, and here's what the consistency looks like. So it's just a really nice, like watery, liquidy kind of thing. Every time you leave, you pull me closer. Why is my leg wet? Did I pee on myself? Why is my leg wet? Oh yeah, I spilled my water. I have been using this here and there. I'm honestly kind of afraid of using products like this, even though I love a dewy, glowy finish, and I love for my foundation to look like super radiant. Like I have oily skin, and sometimes I don't accept that. I rebuke that. I'm just gonna prime one side of my face today just to show you, like with the face product I'm using, what this actually does. So here's what one very light layer looks like. It's very, very hydrating. Like I will say it's pretty thick. And I think that if you have super oily skin, like I have like mildly oily skin, like it's not super troublesome, but if you have like excessively oily skin, first off, girl, you need to work on your skincare routine. But I don't think that you would like this under makeup. But I mean, you could like spot prime with it, like if you just want to put it on your cheekbones or something, but it definitely does feel smoother and softer on this side. Like it just feels more supple, which I mean, it doesn't look super different than my like skincare only side over here. So, I mean, I'm all about just using your skincare products for priming, but that's just me. Okay, I said that I'm not gonna prime and do all that, but I'm kind of chickening out now, so I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyelids. We can't stop, no we won't stop. Moving on to an eyeshadow palette now. So this my friends is the ticket. This is the new Catrice Peach Origin Pro eyeshadow palette. Is that what it's called? Pro Slim eyeshadow palette. So this was like 10 or 15 bucks. Like it was pretty cheap. I'm telling you, Catrice has just been blowing everybody out of the water. Like Catrice, in my opinion, is one of those brands that it gets like an MVP or like most improved. It's the most beautiful kind of neutral color story. You do have a couple of pops of like a blue and like a gray in there, which I'll probably never use, but they have a beautiful array of shimmers and mattes in here. Like you have some really pretty marble finishes that are super dimensional. I mean, this could rival any high-end palette. Okay, so this was $13, and again, this is the Pro Peach Origin Slim Eyeshadow Palette, and they only have one review. No one knows about this yet? What the hell? I'm putting you on something before it's viral, okay? This should be viral. All right, so for eyeshadow brushes, I'm gonna try a new set from Alter Ego that they sent me. I have a 10% off coupon code if you wanna use it. I always link them down in the description box, but it's Glamour Index in all caps for 10% off, so if you wanna check anything out, be my guest, thank you. This is like $26 on their website, I think. It's a 12-piece brush set with a little bag. Yeah, it's $26, and they have an amazing assortment of brushes. Like their brush sets are very different than like Beige Cosmetics or Coastal Scents or Morphe. Like I feel like a lot of other brands that do brush sets, like they have a lot of just randos that really don't matter or a lot of like repeats, but I feel like they do brush sets extremely well. Like every brush is useful. It's not just a bunch of crap. And honestly, they've become one of my favorite brush brands. Like I'm all about them. I'm gonna go ahead and set my eye primer down to try to preserve the lasting ability as much as possible. So I'm gonna go into this shade over here called Soft, which is a really pretty like soft matte ivory. Let's swatch them as I go. So here's a few of the mattes, and they just have such a pretty like undertone range and stuff, and they're so soft. And here are a few of the shimmers. I mean, look at that. Like they're just so pretty and wet, but they're not like, you know, like an abundance of pigmentation to where it's gonna look super like cakey and layered and stuff. Like I think these are so beautiful. But yeah, I'm gonna go into that soft ivory shade and just set my eye primer down. Now I go into Nature, which is this really pretty matte, like a mauvey taupey brown. Like it's a very unique shade. It just looks so pretty in the crease. Like it's not overboard, it's not too tan, it's not too cool. Like it's just the perfect, like just a very subtle hint of contrast. It's beautiful. So from the Alter Ego set, I'm gonna use this brush right here. This is the number 5 brush. So yeah, we're gonna take this for a spin. And they're not super dusty or anything either. Like there's very minimal fallout. I'm just gonna put this right in my crease very lightly. Like I don't want to do a super dramatic look today. Like I said, I haven't really been drawn to a lot of eyeshadow recently. Like I've just been throwing on my cream bronzer in my crease and some mascara and like a little flick of a wing, like super simple. So now I'm gonna go into Cedar, which is a matte, like neutral brown. And again, haven't been going this dark lately, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna kick it up a little bit for this video. I'm gonna take that on this number 7 brush from the set, which is a little bit smaller. So just a little comparison. Here's that initial one that we used. So yeah, just a little bit more condensed for the outer V. I've just gotten so freaking simple with my makeup. Like even like I said, like from 2 months ago when I filmed that mommy makeup routine, like I'm doing less than that now. Like it just seems like every month I take away something else, or I switch out something to make it even more minimal and effortless. Like it's a whole new me. Now I just feel like, you know, any amount of eyeshadow in general, like if it's shimmery or metallic or, you know, standoutish at all, I just want to hunker into a corner and just like no, nobody look at me. All right, so now I'm gonna go into Eccentric, which I don't think I've actually tried this one. The other time that I've used this, I used the shade Graceful, which is, oh my God, like this is just such a pretty, how would I describe this? It's like a taupey light bronze, and it's just so flattering and just so complimentary with pretty much any eye color and any skin tone. Like it's just such a pretty shade. But I haven't tried Eccentric, so we're gonna try that one. That one is one of the marble shades. So here's what she looks like. Just a nice simple little color, little simple doodad. I'll take this on the number 9 brush, which is just your typical like eyeshadow packing type brush. See, I'm just gonna pack this on the eyelid just very lightly. Like I'm not gonna, you know, really pack it on. I'll probably go into my setting spray and do my little setting spray shimmer trick too, which I'll link up there if you want to check out what I'm talking about, because that is a game changer. Like if you apply your shimmery eyeshadows by like wetting your brush or something, check that video out because that will change the way you do your eyeshadow. I'll go back into just a little bit more of that Cedar shade, that second brown shade, and just kind of touch up the outer corner a little bit and kind of drag this along the lash line just to smoke it out a little bit. I kind of feel like I do want to go into Graceful, which is that like taupey bronze shade I was telling you guys about. Like this is such a pretty shade, and oh, I think I need it. I'm gonna put this in the inner corner and kind of fuse it into that, what is it called, Eccentric. But then I'm gonna go into Umber, which is a really pretty, just neutral, dark matte brown. I'm gonna take that on this little smudgy brush doodad. This is the number 11 brush, so I'm just gonna run this along the outer half of my lash line. I feel like I need to do an updated video of just like tips and tricks and hacks and stuff that I've been doing to kind of like shorten my routine, like get the same effect ultimately, but like do it in like 3/4 of the time. If you guys would like to see that, then let me know. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do my little setting spray trick, and again, I'll link that video up there if you want to check it out and see why I'm doing it. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lushes. Alright, so for mascara, I have the new L'Oreal Bambi Oversized Eye Mascara. I don't know why, like, oversized eye. Obviously, it's mascara, it's for your eyes. So the wand is that really nice like cone shape that's kind of more fat towards the base, and it totally reminds me of the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, which is an amazing high-end mascara. That one does give more volume than length though, and I feel like this one's a little bit more balanced, but this one in my opinion is way better than the original Bambi mascara. All right, so there's one layer of this versus nothing on this side. So I mean, I feel for one layer, like that's pretty impressive. It's a very good building mascara. Like it's one of those that's not too dry or too wet, so it just builds and layers on itself really, really well. And I haven't heard anyone talk about this. Like I feel like this came out and slipped under the radar. Like no one even knows it's a thing, but this is a thing, and it's so freaking good. And look at that, it gives thickness, volume, length, a little bit of clump, but it also separates to where it's not like spidery and goopy and stuff. It wears well, it doesn't flake or smear or transfer anything on me, or it hasn't up to this point anyway. Look at that buildability, look at that, it just like just gets up there. Look at that, open, wide-eyed, beautiful. All right, so now that my eyes are looking freaking snatched as hell, let's move on to a face product now. So I have the new number 7 Protect and Perfect Advanced All-in-One Foundation. Now, I haven't been one that's been super into number 7 products. They actually started sending me PR a while back, and I would try things here and there and be like, oh, okay, that's good. And then they started sending me their makeup. I was like, oh, hot dog. So I started going to Target and, you know, picking out more stuff from them, and I saw this, and I was like, okay, this kind of fits the aesthetic of what I'm into lately. Like, let's try it. It says it's hydrating and age defying. It has medium coverage, and it has SPF 50 broad spectrum. Yeah, it's trying to be like the It Cosmetics CC cream kind of thing with the SPF 50, which this is better in my opinion. I will never understand the hype in the It Cosmetics CC cream. Like I will die on that cross. Like I just don't get it. It's not that good. So yeah, here's what this looks like. And this is the shade Warm Beige, by the way, which is a pretty good undertone, pretty good shade match for me. I feel like, especially in the summertime when I have a little bit of a tan. But I will say that something I've had a problem with number 7 foundations and stuff is that they all run, or they used to anyway, I don't know about now, but they used to run very, very ashy and very gray tone. Like they would kind of adjust your skin tone, but they couldn't do undertones. But I feel like this is pretty good. So I don't really see a brush in this collection that I would want to use as foundation. So I'm going to use my Real Technique stippling brush, which again, I think they discontinued it. I can still find it on Walmart, so I'll link it below where I can find it. But yeah, this is an amazing brush. And the color's a really good match for me too, which is, again, shocking. And the coverage I would definitely say is like a medium coverage. Like I think you can build it up a little bit, but I don't know if you would ever get to like a full-on coverage. Look at that pretty, just like radiant, natural skin-like luminosity. Like it just sinks right into the skin. Like it doesn't look emphasizing the pores or texture. It's not emphasizing dryness or anything. Like number 7 has been impressing me lately. I also started using a concealer from them, the Lift and Illuminate Serum Concealer, which is freaking bomb. As far as primer versus no primer side, like I'm not really seeing a huge difference in terms of finish. Like I expected this side, the primer side, to be more dewy and glowy, but honestly, it looks the same on both sides. So yeah, so far for me, this is a win. So for concealer now, I have the Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer. This is supposed to be an 18-hour hydrating concealer with hyaluronic acid, and it's also waterproof. Now I haven't tested that claim yet, but I do want to point out that there was a recent study that came out that was done by like an independent lab or something that said that a lot of waterproof and like long-lasting type makeup, like liquid lipsticks and stuff, were shown to have traces of cancer-causing toxins, like carcinogenic. So that's great. It says comfortable high coverage concealer with moisturizing Hydro Boost complex. Won't set onto fine lines. It's fresh and even, soft matte finish, and it covers under eye circles. It's long lasting and waterproof. So are there carcinogens in this? Probably. It has this really nice flat flexible paddle applicator, and it has little divots on either side where it holds onto the product, and I find that that applies product so well. Like you don't have to like, you know, dip in and out 15 times to get coverage. So I have the shade Warm Macadamia 005, which is a little bit too dark. I've actually been more into like a closer to my skin tone kind of shade for under my eyes, because I find that where my dark circles are very ambient, that if I go too light, then it doesn't actually cover them up. So yeah, I've just kind of been sticking to like a more like natural skin tone kind of shade. If you didn't check out the video where I tried the Catrice True Skin Foundation, I'm gonna link it up there. I actually compared it to the original HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. So yeah, we're getting a little two for review there. I'm telling you, man, Catrice, they're doing something right. I have been testing this out here and there, like not every single day, but I've tried it like a handful of times now. And from the times that I have worn it, it has worn pretty well. I don't find that it's like super creasy or dry looking under my eyes. Like it doesn't make my under eyes look super cakey or crepey or anything, but I've also been avoiding a lot of powder, so that could be a reason for that too. Now I do want to point out that where this is a more soft matte finish, like it's hydrating, it has a hyaluronic acid in here, but it's also not super dewy, luminizing, hydrating kind of finish. I could see this possibly, maybe, potentially emphasizing dryness and texture. And again, I haven't experienced that, but I also haven't been applying a lot of powder under my eyes lately, so that could be why. Yeah, after about a layer and a half, that's what it looks like. So I mean, that's pretty full coverage, still not the most opaque, but like it's just really nice and smoothing. Really nice formula. So for bronzer, I have the new Elf Putty Bronzer in the shade Tan Lines, and this is all the rage right now. Like this is going super viral. I usually don't agree with hyped up viral makeup, but this, I actually get it. Whenever you swatch this, like it's not super pigmented. Like it's actually pretty sheer and you have to build it up a little bit, but I love that kind of formula for the face because I feel like you've got more of the control. Yeah, there's what it looks like on my hand when I like blend it out, but it just like, it melts right into the skin and almost sets to be like, almost like a powder finish. Like it's one of those that I feel like if you have oily skin, you don't have to worry about it just like sliding off throughout the day. Like I said, I do have oily skin, so that is a concern with a lot of cream products, but it's not too emollient to where it's gonna just turn your face into a grease ball. Like this actually holds up really well on me. So yeah, can you stop mowing, please? I'm busy. But look at how it just melts right into the skin. Like you barely have to blend it. Like it's so effortless and it just looks so natural. Like look at that color. Like it's just such a pretty like understated, like, oh, I'm a model off duty. So yeah, if you're close to my skin tone, if you want a really nice neutral bronzer, then Tan Lines, this is it. So for highlighter, I have the Revlon Skin Lights Face Glow Illuminator in the shade 300 Sunrise Luster. So I'm on this journey of trying to find dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Like I'm planning an entire video. It's gonna be a big one. And this intrigued me. And I feel like Revlon has a lot of products that have gone kind of under the radar. They're trying really hard to dupe stuff. And like, it's just, they're forgetting about them. Which is probably for good reason, because Revlon, they kind of sucked for a while. It's just this really pretty, just neutral kind of champagne color. You can use it as a primer. You can use it by itself as a highlighter. You could use it alone like the Charlotte Tilbury one. But today I'm gonna use it as like a standalone highlighter. It's such a pretty tone and it's so natural. Like there's not, you know, obvious chunks of sparkle or glitter or shimmer or anything. Like it just gives you the prettiest, just dewy sheen. Like look at that. Oh man, give me more. This is one that like if you have a lot of bumpy texture on your skin or a lot of dryness, like you can layer this up a ton. It's never gonna really emphasize that texture. Like it's so seamless and natural. Look at that. You can't even see it, but it's so understated and pretty. All right, so that's it for cream products. Now let's move on to a powder blush and the rest of my powder products. So I have this Catrice Cheek Lover Oil-Infused Blush in the shade Blooming Hibiscus. And I don't know how many shades they have in this. Like, I feel like this is the only shade. I could be wrong. It's this really pretty pinky coral with a golden shimmer. And I don't know, like, this is just the kind of shade that I know it's redundant and like it's done with every single blush out there, but it's just one of those shades that's so universal and it just looks good on like every skin tone, everybody. It's not super pigmented, which again, in face products, that's what I like. But I mean, there's a very slight glow to it, but you know, based on how products like this usually work for me, it seems like, you know, if you build it up, it's gonna get more and more glowy, but if you apply a lot layer, then it'll just be like a very like kind of sheeny kind of blush. But there's only one way to find out, so let's do it. So yeah, I've only used this a couple of times, so I'm really not super familiar with how it looks or wears or builds up. But I mean, yeah, it's not super pigmented right off the bat. Like, you got some wiggle room and like flexibility to build it up to where you want it to be. I will say I've never heard of an oil-infused blush. Like, what's the oil in here? It's infused with carrot, coconut oil, and hibiscus extract. So yeah, coconut oil is the main oil infusion in here. Yeah, I really like that. Like, that looks really pretty now. Like, the longer it sits on my skin, the more glowy it looks, but it actually kind of looks like a cream blush. Like, that's really nice. Oh, why did I use that brush? I could have used one of these brushes for blush. For powder, I'm going to use a L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear foundation in a powder. And again, it's not powder foundation, it's foundation in a powder. I do talk about this in an upcoming video where I, you know, just put this on by itself. I'm testing like viral TikTok products and stuff. So I'm just going to use this today as a setting powder. Before I set anything, I'm going to go ahead and go in and just kind of smush out all the creases and just, I mean, everything looks so good. Like, I don't even really need to do that. Actually, before I do that, here's what my face looks like up close with no setting powder or anything. Like, it just looks so just milky and creamy and glowy. Like, this is it. This is the look. So I'm gonna use this number 3 brush, this little angled. It's technically a blush brush, but I'm gonna use this to set certain areas of my face. So I will say I haven't really used this as a setting powder by itself. Like I said, I've only used it as a foundation, like a powder foundation, which is new territory to me. Haven't done that in a long time. But it's actually not that bad as a foundation. Like, it's actually pretty like luminous and glowy, especially for it to be a powder. So for me, like for the kind of setting powder that I like nowadays, this is like right my alley. So again, I'm not sure how it wears, like if it actually sets everything to where it wears better, but it's not bad. So going back up to my lower lash line, let's just take Nature again, which is that really pretty crease shade I used. And I'm just gonna run this through like the outer third of my eye, just to kind of keep more of like that like uplifted, winged kind of fox eye thing. I'm gonna take just a little bit of Cedar, which is that medium tone brown shade that we used, and just run this right along like literally the very outer edge of that lower lash line. Then I'm gonna go into this number 10 brush, which is just an angled like shader kind of brush. This is what I like to use for my brow bone highlight. I'm gonna take Soft and Comfy right next door to it and just mix those two together, because I don't want it to be too bright. Like, I just want it to kind of be like a toned down brightness on my brow bone. I'm just gonna stamp this right along the brow bone just to brighten everything up and clean up the crease, make it look a little more crisp. I'm gonna go back into that brush that I used for that crease shade again and just diffuse everything in the crease, make sure everything's all blended, and then kind of extend it out here just a little bit. Like, I'm not putting any extra product on here. I'm just working with what's laid down already. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a kind of look that I can get behind for those days when I just want to, you know, kind of amp up my like minimal natural thing and just put on a little bit more makeup. Like, it's pretty, it's simple, it's eye brightening, but like you got some smoke in there, but it's not like, you know, overboard. Okay, so for lips, I don't really have anything new, I don't think. I had these like Superstay Matte Ink lip colors from Maybelline, which I'm not sure if these are actually new shades, but they're part of the Marvel collection, so I think they may be new. I don't know, it could just be the Marvel logos on them. I'm not sure. It's in the shade 15 Lover. We all know I'm just a big lover of liquid lipstick, so why not? Oh man, I should have used a lip liner. I don't know how to color within the lines. I've heard a lot of good things about these Superstay liquid lip colors, but I mean, my lips are just too damn dry for matte. I will say I did expect that to look as good. Like, I was definitely wanting to go with more of like a taupey, like brown tone kind of look, like for my lips, and just, you know, keep it more nude. But I mean, for a little pop of color, like for the summertime or the spring, not bad. It's not horrible, but I mean, I'm definitely getting that like sticky, like glued kind of thing happening. I need a gloss. Let's do a gloss. This isn't really new, but I've been loving it, so let's just go ahead and use it. This is the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper in the shade number 1 Champagne. So I'm gonna pop this on just to give more of like a toned down kind of thing and add some, you know, hydration to it. So yeah, that is it for a full face of new drugstore makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I would do a little rundown of everything and you know tell you whether or not I liked it, but I don't think there was anything that I tried that I didn't like. This is new for me. What's happening? I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the liquid lipstick. I love the shade though. Like the shade is actually really pretty. Like I could definitely see myself wearing this more, especially if I have a lip gloss on top of it. Because right now it feels really nice and comfortable because of that gloss. So I mean, I'm not hating on it. I just don't like a liquid lipstick by itself. But other than that, I still can't see a huge difference from side to side with the primer. So I'm not sure if this is something that's like going to be a staple in my collection, like in my primer collection. But I mean, for what it is, like if you want a more dewy, like a dew enhancing primer, then it's pretty good. But give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this where I test out new drugstore makeup, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And here's a couple more things for you to check out next. So just venture around the channel, make yourself at home, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.